Christmas morning arrived with the smell of Alfred's cinnamon rolls wafting through Wayne Manor. I'd actually slept in Selina's arms in the guest suite. No nightmares for the first time in weeks. The crystalline lattice of reality remained dormant, the dream angels quiet. 3 days had passed since the Axis chemical collapse, and Gotham was still processing the news that 3 of its most notorious criminals were gone. My phone buzzed against the nightstand. Selina groaned, burrowing deeper under the covers. "Ignore it," she mumbled. "It's Christmas." I checked the screen anyway. Vicky Vale, of course. Editor wants Ice Princess biography. Need interview today. Sorry, Christmas assignment. Her penthouse, 10 a.m. I let my head fall back against the pillow with a theatrical sigh. You have got to be kidding me. What? Selina propped herself up on one elbow, blonde hair falling across her face. Vicky wants me to interview Michelle, the Ice Princess, this morning. I showed her the text. Apparently the Gazette wants a biography piece. Selina's expression shifted from sleepy irritation to barely contained amusement. The Ice Princess, the girl who thought economic policy was a type of insurance. That's the one. Oh, you have to record this. Selina was fully awake now, grinning. I want to hear every single word. I typed back a response to Vicky, confirming the assignment despite my internal grumbling. Bruce had already told us that Christmas dinner would be at 2 o'clock, giving Alfred time to work his culinary magic. I could squeeze in an interview and still make it back in time. I'll be back for dinner, I promised Selina, kissing her forehead. Save me a seat. Always. 2 hours later, I stood outside Michelle's penthouse in the Diamond District, recorder in hand and my professional reporter mask firmly in place. The building was one of those ultra-modern glass towers that screamed new money. Michelle had apparently capitalized on her 15 minutes of fame from the plaza lighting ceremony, landing some modeling contracts, and a reality show deal that Bruce had mentioned with obvious disdain. She answered the door in a white silk robe and fuzzy slippers, her platinum blonde hair in curlers. "Oh my God, you're like totally early," Michelle said, waving me inside. "I'm like not even ready yet." I checked my watch. It was exactly 10 o'clock. "I can wait if you need a few minutes." No, it's fine. Just give me a sec." She disappeared into what I assumed was the bedroom, leaving me standing in a living room that looked like a home Dacre magazine had exploded. Everything was white and gold and vaguely Grecian. A small Christmas tree sat in the corner, decorated entirely in silver ornaments. Michelle returned 5 minutes later, curlers removed, wearing a pink velour tracksuit that probably cost more than my rent. She settled onto a white leather couch, crossing her legs and offering me a smile that was all teeth and no substance. I sat across from her, pulling out my recorder and notebook. Professional. I could do professional even if this was going to be painful. "All right, Princess. Are you ready to begin?" "Well, let's not take too much time," Michelle said, examining her manicure. "I have a Christmas dinner waiting for me, you know." I bit the inside of my cheek to keep from laughing. The Valley Girl accent was even stronger than I remembered. I made a mental note to definitely save this recording for Selina. "I understand, Princess. I too have a Christmas dinner waiting for me, so let's get this over with." I clicked the recorder on. "What can you tell me about your childhood? When did you get the title of Ice Princess?" Michelle's face scrunched up in concentration, like I'd asked her to solve a differential equation. "Oh, well, I grew up in Metropolis, and I was totally into pageants since I was 5. My mom was super into them too." "And the Ice Princess title?" "Oh, yeah, so that was at the Tri-State Winter Pageant last year. And I did this whole routine where I was a snow queen or whatever, and the judges were "Oh my God, you're totally the Ice Princess." And it just stuck. Every sentence ended with an upward inflection, turning statements into questions. I scribbled notes, knowing that I'd have to translate this into something remotely coherent for the actual article. What brought you to Gotham? Well, my agent was like, Michelle, Gotham is where it's at for modeling and stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. And then Mr. Shrek's people called about the tree lighting thing, and I was like, that's so perfect because I'm literally the Ice Princess. The mention of Shrek made something cold settle in my stomach, but Michelle barreled on, oblivious. And then all that crazy stuff happened with the clowns and the smoke and whatever. And that was so scary. But then there was this woman in the cat costume who totally saved me, and I was like, that's so cool. And the woman in the cat costume, I interrupted, leaning forward slightly. Michelle nodded enthusiastically. Yeah, she had this whole leather thing going on, very dominatrix chic. And she totally kicked this guy's butt when he tried to grab me. I wanted to thank her, but she disappeared. I made a note. Ice Princess remembers Catwoman fondly, wants to thank her. That must have been terrifying, I said, guiding her back on track. What was going through your mind during the attack? Honestly, I was like, please don't mess up my hair. Michelle laughed at her own joke. But seriously, it was super scary. And then later, that Joker guy totally kidnapped me and took me to this creepy tower. And he was going to inject me with something. But the Crimson Claw lady showed up and saved me too. She said it so casually, as if being kidnapped by a homicidal maniac was just another inconvenient event, like getting stuck in traffic. You've had quite the adventure, I said diplomatically. Right, my agent says it's totally boosted my profile. I'm going to be in Vogue next month. I continued the interview for another 20 minutes, extracting what useful information I could from Michelle's stream of consciousness responses. By the end, I had enough material to craft something readable, even if most of it would require significant editorial translation. As I packed up my recorder, Michelle walked me to the door. Thanks for doing this, she said. And Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Michelle. I stepped into the hallway, already mentally drafting the article and imagining Selina's reaction when I played her the recording. The elevator doors closed, and I finally allowed myself to laugh.